of young,
No shade on her.
and there's a
Definitely.
young lady named Elise Stefanik. And if you are familiar with our show and you're familiar with Lana's show, we actually interviewed her opponent, Stephen Holden. Elise Stefanik was on stage at CPAC. And, by the way, speaking of CPAC, usually there's a lot of clips that are just, and don't get me wrong, CPAC was as batshit crazy as it always gets, but it seemed a little lame this year. I don't know. I didn't get as much,
Right.
I didn't get the super crazy like we normally do.
Wasn't
It
a lot
feels
of
like it was a
talk,
little
right?
off.
You're right. But you know what? Maybe that is the media, right? We talk about the media and say they're not showing Biden as much, but it also seems like they've tamped down on letting Donald Trump just say whatever. Like, so maybe
Well, they're
that's
not even
what
covering half the things anymore
right.
because
So
it's just
maybe
so
that
crazy.
so maybe the media is getting better, right?
Maybe.
Maybe they are, because we haven't seen it all over the place.
Yeah, usually you'll see day 1, day
Right.
2, day 3. You'll
Right.
see Marjorie
Right.
Taylor Greene all over the place, Don
Right.
Jr. You'll see all these nutballs,
Right.
but I really didn't see a whole bunch out of CPAC. I did see Donald Trump's. Obviously, they covered that a lot, but I also noticed too there were some of the coverage of CPAC. They would show the room. There wasn't a whole bunch of people in some of these rooms,
That's
and
good.
and that's
That's
a lot
good.
less than it has been in the past. Maybe that's just a media trick and they just happen to catch the one guy that nobody was going to sit there and listen to and filmed it. But Elise Stefanik was on the stage at CPAC, and you talk about gaslighting people. I want you to listen to somebody who is practically begging to be Donald Trump's vice president, Donald Trump's accomplishments, and why we should all bow down to him just like she does.
Trump left Joe Biden the strongest economy in my lifetime. Millions of new jobs, historic wage growth for blue-collar workers, the lowest unemployment in 50 years, booming U.S. manufacturing, and 15 million Americans lifted out of poverty.
So, Lana, with her saying that, I decided to do a little bit of research just to see whether or not.
Is she saying that was Donald Trump?
Yes.
Stop playing. Like, stop. When? Like, when did he lift anyone out of poverty? He didn't even say that when he was president. He never said that.
Well, I've got some. She mentioned the unemployment rate. I'm going to pull up a couple screens here so you can see. Okay, Lana, tell me if you see this. Do you see that?
No.
Damn it. Oh, wait. Do you see it now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So let's go to the unemployment rate at 2017. And let's go back to, if you could see that, January of 2017, it was 4.7. That was his first year in office, right? Donald Trump.
Yeah.
January 2017. It did go down to 3.5%. Okay. And in June, or what was it, May here, April, it went up to 14.8. Now, of course, we're all fair. That had everything to do with COVID. But as he left office, which was in December of 2020, when she said when he left office, he left with the lowest unemployment rate, well, it was at 6.7%. So right now it's about as low as it's been in over 50 years that they said. And in fact, the streak of the amount of years that it has been going down is the lowest it's been in over 50 years. She talked about manufacturing jobs. Can you see that?
That's not even black unemployment. Black unemployment was like the highest ever with Donald Trump. Like, stop playing.
There was a time during Donald Trump's during his presidency where black unemployment did go down that I did see, and they did claim that it was record unemployment for blacks, but that's just not true. The record unemployment for blacks is current right now under Joe Biden.
Right.
So let's take a look at the manufacturing jobs back in 2017, January of 2017. This is in the thousands of persons. It was at 12,366. It did go up for a while, and by the time May 2020 came around, it was all the way down back to 11,652. And by the time he left office, it was at 12,194. If you continue on beyond his presidency, you could see that Joe Biden is at 12,000. This is at November of 2023. And that number is higher as of now because the job numbers just continue to go up. But that was at 12,948. That is the highest it's been since 2008. I want to say that it was. Yeah. It was September. Yeah. November of 2008. It's been the manufacturing jobs. So again, she was incorrect on that. She also brought up wages. Now, as you can see, regardless, wages have gone up no matter who the president was. Wages will always go up. But as you can see, look at the difference here, Lana. When you're looking when Donald Trump took over in 2017 of January, it was at 26, right? And you go up and he got to about 30 in 2020. Look at the difference now between when Joe Biden took over. It is all the way up to 34.55, which is a gigantic difference compared to, look at everything else. If you go all the way back to 2007, it just gradually goes up. 2157, 2170, 21, everything gradually goes up. That shot up pretty significantly. So the fact that Elise Stefanik has said that this was the best economy in her lifetime when Donald Trump left is just, I mean, beyond false.
Like, it just on its face, like the CHIP Act, infrastructure, all these things are just creating jobs and jobs and jobs and jobs. Like, what are we? Child poverty, that's just not true under Donald Trump. Like, in matter of fact, it was the lowest ever until we got these house MAGAs, and then it started going back up, child poverty.
Yes.
Because they got rid of the child tax credit.
Yes. And in fact, I think they tried to extend that, and they were not able to do that. So I think that's obviously what hurt that statistic. But again, it's just getting up there and just blatantly lying and not having the actual facts, behind you, and just saying, you know what, I'm going to say whatever I want. These idiots are going to believe it, and they're going to vote on it based on that. But I want to play another clip here real quick of, obviously not the biggest Fox News fans here. Let me remove a couple of these because it's not going to let me play it unless I do. But Neil Cavuto was on, and Donald Trump was spewing his lies about the economy and why the stock market was so high. But he was in the middle of his little speech lying. And to Neil Cavuto's credit, this is what he did and what he had to say.
Hearing the president's remarks, and I mean no offense to him, or some of you might want to continue hearing, but I did have to say that even though the former president is entitled to his opinions, he's not entitled to his own set of facts. The market has indeed been going up, but having nothing to do with him and everything to do with this aggressive cut in interest rates, or just a hiking in interest rates and stabilized inflation, and of course the whole artificial intelligence phenomenon that has benefited NVIDIA and a host of companies that are making money hand over fist. So that, whether you want to give Biden credit for that, has nothing to do with Donald Trump. Furthermore, he mentioned about gas prices out of whack, $6 a gallon. The national average right now is $3.26 cents a gallon. He went on to talk about the 2020 election and how that was rigged. This has been adjudicated many, many times, dozens of times. It's been investigated by everyone and his uncle. No fewer than 44 investigations launched, some of them by judges that were picked by Donald Trump himself, that found no evidence of that in the 7 battleground states where most of them were focused. Donald Trump lost each and every one of those states, and no facts or no history that he mentions on the stump right now.
So back in the day, you didn't necessarily have to worry too much about the so-called gaslighting. but because of this day and age where we have not just, people who are not qualified to talk about politics, but people who are actually in politics, and the most powerful person on the Republican side in politics just up there spewing lies constantly, it's a breath of fresh air to see somebody, especially on a network that is pro that side, whether it's pro Trump or just pro MAGA or whatever it is, to spill out the facts. And that's really how news should be every day on every channel. And that's why it makes me so angry and it frustrates me so much that we're trying to pretend like Joe Biden and Donald Trump are the same fucking guy. And I got to sit here and try to weigh the differences of the two based on their policy or based on their one guy just completely lying. So I've got to sit here and go, well, should I vote for Donald Trump because he told me that everything was perfect when he was president, or should I listen to the fucking facts?
Right.
It's so frustrating. It's just so frustrating to hear that.